everybody. Welcome to Liner Notes. This is episode 10. I'm Nash. That's John. And
Yo,
what's up, brother?
not much, man. How you been? Everything all
Everything's
right?
good. Same old shit. Can't complain.
Nice.
Let's see what's going on in the world of music today. I don't know. It's been like a lot of weird. Um, all right. Let's start with the fact that Clive Davis just left us this
Yes.
morning. I think.
Yeah, it was today, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think I saw that this morning.
Yeah.
94 years old, worked with or discovered basically everybody who's anybody in the music industry.
Yep.
I mean, what a life, what a career. So many people, from Prince to Aerosmith to
Yeah. Bruce Springsteen,
Janis
Billy Joel,
Joplin, like basically everybody.
lots
So,
and
I
lots.
mean, I'm not going to pretend to know a lot about him, but seems like quite the career. And, you know, you got to have a good head for business and a good ear, too, to just mine all of this talent. That's
Yeah.
kind of
Yep.
crazy.
Yeah. Another heavy hitter passed on. But yeah, he. Who else? Santana, Patti Smith, Whitney Houston.
Oh, I thought you were saying
Um.
Santana died. I was like, wow, Carlos Santana died? Oh no, all the
No.
people he's worked with. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just
I
amazing.
don't want
Like,
to start spreading rumors. Carlos Santana, to my knowledge, is not dead.
is he alive? He
I'm
is
pretty
alive, right?
sure Santana's still alive. I'm pretty sure he's still
Huh.
out touring too.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure. But you know, it's so weird to think about. So like Clive Davis is was 94. So decades and decades and decades and discovering all this talent. But just think, I mean, we were just talking before we pressed the old record button. Just think about all the people from our like our music, our generation of bands who have died either from drugs or just whatever
Mhm.
weird mysterious causes, like Chris Cornell
Well, who was
died.
mhm. Who was the first big one for you?
The first big, it's got to be Kurt Cobain.
Yeah. Actually, I wasn't even thinking of him, but yeah, actually, yeah, that was
That I think was the first big
yeah.
like name, unless you count, and I mean some people don't even know, um, Andrew Wood from Mother Love Bone.
Mm. Yeah, I
He
wasn't
died of
familiar
a
with him
heroin
at the time.
overdose, and the thing of it was they were about to break before Nirvana, Pearl Jam. They were about to go out on a huge tour, and their first record was about to come out. They were all set to be like the big thing, and then Andrew Wood goes and dies of a heroin overdose.
Wow.
And that's where you know, a lot of those bands, I mean, that was a real scene, that was a real community, like it or not. I mean, you can, the grunge label itself, I don't think means very much, but to have that crop of talent come out of one concentrated area in the country at a very specific time, like
Yeah.
those bands all knew each other. Those guys were all friends. They were all in the same circles,
Yeah.
you
Talk
know?
about community.
Yeah, I mean, that had to have been such a crazy experience to go through because I mean uh, you're talking Alice in Chains, Nirvana, uh oh yeah, Chris Cornell is gone too, so you know there's that. I mean, and that was also kind of crazy. I don't know if that was labeled a suicide or an accidental death or whatever,
Who?
but
Who? Chris Cornell?
yeah.
That was determined as suicide because he hung himself.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm confusing that with something else then. Okay, so yeah, that was a suicide then.
He hung
Um,
himself. And what did Chester Bennington? How did he die? Was it the same thing?
I think so.
Did he hang himself?
I think so. But I
I
mean,
can't
it's
remember.
really weird to think about. Like, I mean, name 10 bands from the early or mid '90s, and you can name somebody that's dead. I mean, Scott Weiland.
Mm.
That one was that
Yeah.
one was rough, man. I loved Stone Temple Pilots when they first came out.
Yeah, I know you were a huge fan.
That was a tough one, man. And like also, I mean, not really a hard rock guy or whatever, but I fucking miss Tom Petty, man. I can't believe Tom
Oh,
Petty's
I
dead.
do too. I like Tom Petty. I was always a Tom Petty fan. I was really bummed when he died.
Yeah,
I was
and
really
I
bummed
mean,
about that.
his was just like I believe using fentanyl patches to keep himself pain free so he could still go out and tour and perform.
Yeah, he had a couple things going on. I think the big thing was his hip. I think he had to have like a hip surgery or a hip replacement or something, and um, he was on medication. I think for the pain for that, and there may have been something with his knee. I can't remember. Um, I also or he had a lung thing maybe from
Oh
smoking.
man.
I don't remember, but he definitely had the hip thing, and then he had the. But he was an accidental overdose. He wasn't suicide.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. He
It's,
was
you
just
know,
trying to keep himself going and keep himself out on the road.
yeah, but he was great, man. He was such a
I
great
don't know, man.
songwriter.
It's crazy to think about. Like so much talent and
He
such.
Pete Steele.
Yeah, Pete Steele.
That one was
Pete
out of nowhere
besides
too.
besides being like a talent and a very sort of like rare individual. I know from personal experience, Peter Steele was a stand up guy. He was a great guy. He was really funny. He was really smart. He was actually really nice, even though his, like, just the nature of his physicality was intimidating. But what a really, really good human being he was.
Yeah,
Wow, man, it's a long list.
it
I
really
actually
is.
made a list of like names. Let me see if I can grab it.
I know Michael Jackson was a big one because Michael Jackson was one of those people you never thought was going to die. He seemed like he was
Yeah,
going to be around forever. And Prince.
I mean, oh yeah, that was a shock too. I mean,
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, I was never a big fan, and I mean, not that I wish anybody to die, but I was just kind of like, oh wow, that it was shocking, and like the manner of death was, you know, obviously caught people off guard and whatever. But
Yeah.
let me see what my list here is. I
Who you
got
got?
I got Kurt Cobain. That was the first one I think that like grabbed us
Yeah.
as far as like somebody who was like of our generation dying.
Uh huh.
Then you got Lane Staley, Chris Cornell, Scott Weiland, Tom Petty, Prince. Oh, I also have Sinead O'Connor. I mean, she died of natural causes, but it
Oh,
was still
yeah.
a shock.
Was it natural?
Yeah, they said she had some like respiratory thing and then something else. It was like a bunch of things just compounded.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
then Dolores O'Riordan from the Cranberries, like
Oh, that's right. I forgot about her.
died of being drunk in a bathtub and like drowned.
What, she drowned?
Yeah, she drowned drunk in a bathtub. Sad, man. And what a voice that woman had. Holy shit.
I wasn't a big fan of her.
Yeah, I I
But
I I liked them. I mean, I wasn't a super fan, but I thought she was talented. I thought she had a really good voice.
yeah, they had some good songs.
Um. Oh, so we were also just talking. John's gonna study the Rolling Stones and get back to us on like what he really thinks. But he did bring up for those of you who are familiar with the song "Gimme Shelter." I mean, it's all over the place. It's been around forever. It's a great song, but the backing vocal was done by a woman named Mary, as in Merry Christmas, Mary Clayton. And John, you said you just saw a clip recently of what Mick Jagger sitting and listening to her isolated vocal.
Yeah, it was a reel, and it looked like it was recent. It was him and her sitting in a studio, just sitting across from each other. listening to the isolated vocal track, and I thought it was pretty amazing, man. I had no idea. It just sounded so raw and so emotional, and it was like so imperfect. It was so perfectly imperfect. It was just like you get goosebumps listening to it. Just like you just the like I guess like the energy and the emotion in her voice was yeah, it was great, man. It was great. It was cool to see the two of them sit across from each other just listening to it.
Yeah, I love
Um,
when you get to hear those isolated tracks of different things. I mean, the story is that she was called up in the middle of the night, showed up at the studio with curlers in her hair, and did the vocal like 3 or 4 times. And Jagger kept asking her to like push it and push it and push it. So finally, the last time, she just blew it out, like gave it everything she had. And I mean, she was a professional like studio backup singer. She gets paid, she does the thing, she walks away, and you think that's going to be that. But I mean, the song goes on to like have a life of its own and mythology of its own. And apparently, she was like very, very far along in a pregnancy and had a miscarriage like the next day. And she attributes it to how stressful and straining that performance was.
wow.
I don't know how much of that is actually true, but
Yeah, that's messed up.
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's gotta be a horrible, horrible feeling. But yeah. So I mean, there's so much stuff around the Stones, and I told you I've been reading a new biography. I thought I knew everything. I don't. I learned so much more than I thought.
Yeah.
But you see what else? I did make some notes over here too. Oh, here's a good little like question for us, and maybe we'll put it up as a like a question for the audience, like a poll or something later on. But even a band that you really, really, really like, do you have any kind of a list or even just 1 or 2 songs that, even though it's a great song, it's been way overdone and you couldn't care less if you ever heard it again?
I got like hundreds of them.
All right, give me like 2 or 3.
Rock and roll all night. Kiss.
Okay, I get it.
Think of something a little bit more modern. My God, there's just so many. I can't even think of them. Um, just about anything that's like on the radio on the classic rock stations because it's all the same stuff. There's like a ton of Zeppelin songs I could do without now. A ton of Doors songs, like well, yeah, Doors. Like all those classic rock bands. I think the radio stations have just kind of ruined it for me.
I think you're right because
Yeah,
actually my top two would be a Led Zeppelin and a Doors song.
and I
I
love and I
know
love
how
both of
good
those
Stair.
bands.
Yeah, I know, but like I see, I know how good Stairway to Heaven is as a song. I
That's a
couldn't care
perfect
less if
example.
I
Yeah,
ever heard it again.
yeah.
And listen, Light My Fire is a great song. It's too goddamn long. I've heard it too goddamn many times, and now I can't stand it.
That's a great review.
I can't stand it anymore. And I
Oh, that's
love the
great.
Doors, man.
I do too. But they're one of those bands. Them Zeppelin, and I know there's others that I think they're great bands. I love them, but I just don't really listen to them anymore. I never have the desire to just sit down and put on a track from one of those bands because I'm just
Yeah, and
I
it's
don't know,
just like even if it's your
listener
band,
fatigue.
like if you're a big Who fan, you gotta be sick of like Baba O'Reilly.
Oh my God, such a great song, but seriously, like I can't listen to it anymore.
You
I
gotta be
can't listen
sick
to
of
it
it.
anymore.
I mean, there are Stone songs that I'm sick of, but also like as a fan, I gotta say like okay, so they have like 25 studio albums.
That's it.
There's probably about 6 or 7 out of those 25 that I would never spend money on. I think are like absolute kind of just like filler and nonsense just to
Mm.
fulfill a record contract or whatever. And there are songs that I just cannot stand. But there's one that's actually really, really, really funny. It's called Emotional Rescue, and it's off the album called Emotional Rescue.
Uh-huh.
And the lyrics are so ridiculous. It's Mick Jagger talking about riding across the desert on a fine Arab charger, coming to your emotional rescue. It's terrible, but I get a kick out of it because every once in a while, like if I do something nice and my girlfriend's like, "Oh, thanks for doing that for me," I'll just be like, "I'll be your knight in shining armor, coming to your emotional rescue," and she's like, "Shut up, that's a terrible song." It is terrible, but
We know it's. I got one that I never want. I'd be perfectly fine not hearing it ever again. Bike from Pink Floyd. Did you ever hear that song?
which one? Say it again.
Bike from Pink
No,
Floyd.
never heard it.
It's from the Sid Barrett days. It's from before they like were like super big. It's awful. I mean, we used to in high school we used to play it all the time just because it was just hysterical. It was because it was so bad. I mean, the lyrics, I've got a bike, you can ride it if you like. It's got a basket, a bell that rings and things to make it look good. I'd give it to you if I could, but I borrowed it.
That is a terrible, terrible song.
Yeah, I'll have to send it
Terrible.
to you.
But sometimes things are so bad that they actually become good. I don't
Yeah.
know, but yeah, there are just certain songs that after a while, no matter how good they are, you just have to be sick of them. And oh, here's, I mean, only that you did mention rock and roll all night. Did you
Mhm.
were you aware that Gene Simmons is out with his own band, the Gene Simmons Band, and they're
Yeah.
on like the county fair circuit right now?
Oh, well, he also just canceled a whole bunch of shows. And I heard one of the rumors was that it was because of low ticket sales. He was doing this tour with Lita Ford. Oh, shit, who else was it? It was like that type of like Lita Ford era stuff. And yeah, Sebastian Bach I think was on it also. And I just read that they canceled a whole bunch of dates. So
Wow. Yeah, I you know, living in California now, apparently the county fair is a thing. And I've never lived anywhere where a county fair was a thing before.
yeah,
Constantly, every day on the radio in the car if we're going somewhere, I hear about like the Alameda County Fair, and it's like the Gene Simmons Band, and I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, go away for a little while.
yeah, he just
And
doesn't want to stop.
yeah, but I mean, you sold the rights to everything. You even sold the rights to the makeup and the image and the whole thing, so you can't even do that anymore. Like, go away for a little while. Let people
He's
want to hear you again, you know?
well, if it's a money thing, he said that he makes more money now doing this tour, these Gene Simmons band tours than the Kiss shows because he's like, I don't have to pay anybody. He's like, I don't have like a this huge entourage of people and a production crew and all this stuff that I have to pay. He's like, it's just you know, it's just a small little club thing. So
Well, I mean, that's a good point. That's probably true. I mean, you keep
and he
more
gets
money in your pocket, definitely.
yeah, and he gets to play stuff that I'm sure he's wanted to play for a long time, but he just couldn't for whatever reason with Kiss. You know, but you know, I'm not I'm just not really interested in that whole thing. I love Kiss, but I just I don't really listen to them that much anymore. Anytime they come on my Spotify, I find myself skipping them. I feel bad about it. I'm a bad fan.
But I just also think sometimes, like, the further away you get from the real thing, the original thing, the thing that everybody loved, like, just something's missing, something's lacking, and it's not as
Yeah,
good.
I
You know,
agree.
I have friends of mine, I guess it was last summer, saw The Who at an outdoor amphitheater, like not that far from here. They said the tickets were really, really cheap because they weren't selling, but the show was really, really awesome. And I'm
Uh-huh.
like, that's really good to know, but like, don't even call it the Who anymore. It's just Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I love the idea of all these nostalgia circuit shows happening, and you get to see all these old bands that you would never normally get to see, and I think it's cool. And then other times I'm like, I don't know, it just seems like a money grab and whatever.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them too are really starting to get to the point where they just can't do it anymore. They just got to hang it up, you know. But what's going to happen when they're all gone? Who's going to be
I,
left?
I don't know. I don't know what the next crop of new music is going to look like. Really, I mean, like thankfully, Metallica seems to still be going strong. They seem to be playing live everywhere, all over the place, and like
Yeah.
I hear nothing but good things about the shows. ACDC,
Yeah, but
not
I'm
so
just,
much.
yeah, I've been hearing a lot of not so great things about them.
And I mean, same. I've said it a couple of times now on the show and both personally. Same thing with like Motley Crue. And I keep saying if the ticket's cheap enough, I'll go see them. But I don't know. Last time I looked, it was like $80, and I don't know. They don't seem like an $80 band to me anymore. They seem more like a
Yeah.
$40 band.
Yeah, they just don't have that spark anymore.
Yeah, and they don't have Mick Mars anymore either.
Yeah.
It's John Five.
Yeah. Yeah, you got John 5 playing now. So, um yeah.
You were telling me something just to get back to. Sometimes we talk about things before we actually come on the air, and then we kind of forget or it gets lost. You were telling me something crazy about some conspiracy theory around some artist who like died in a helicopter crash, but people were blaming the record company.
Yeah, I don't know. So this guy Oliver Tree, um I honestly don't know what genre he was considered, but anyway, he put out a video somewhat recently, and he was basically like, "Look, I just want to let you guys know that I don't have an album coming out now. The label just decided that they're not going to put it out, and I don't have a budget for for this, a budget for that, videos, content." He's like, I don't have a budget for anything, and you know, th- there were songs that were supposed to come out that they just completely forgot to put out.
Wow.
So it just yeah, it just sounded like like he just had no support from the label anymore, and then I don't know, and then not too long after that, he got into a helicopter. His helicopter crashed with another helicopter, and they were both flying. They were both flying low, and apparently the two pilots were seasoned pilots. Um, and no one, people were like, well, why were they flying so low, and why did they even collide like that in the first place? Like what happened? It seemed like it made no sense, and people just were like, oh, it must be the record company wanted to kill him. But why would the record company want to kill? It doesn't make any sense. Just
I don't see a
you
record
know,
company actually wanting to kill an artist when basically
but
what you
people
could do
tied
is
it
just kill a contract.
right. But
You could just get rid of them.
there was an article that brought up like maybe 4 or 5 other artists that went through a similar situation where they had some sort of a falling out with their label, and then shortly after that, that they died, or they got into some sort of an accident. Something happened to them. So some people kind of came up with some sort of conspiracy theory about all this stuff. I mean,
And
I don't really
that's
buy
the
it,
thing.
but
I guess it's really, really easy just to speculate and come up with a theory. And you know what? You can say whatever you want. I mean, the internet's the fucking wild, wild west. You can straight up invent something and people will buy into it. You know, it doesn't even have to have any basis in truth, but I really don't think record companies are looking to like off people when they could just like kill your contract, shelve your project, and like just pay you no mind to get rid of it.
Yeah, but you do get that huge bump in streams and stuff
That's true.
when you
That's
kick the
true.
bucket.
That's true. I
You
wasn't
know,
thinking about that, but that is true.
and he made a comment about that too before he died. He said something about like like no one's gonna really notice him until he's gone, and he was like, and that's when all my streams are gonna go through the roof.
Ah,
So,
sad.
but that's that's how it goes, unfortunately. But I don't believe in the whole conspiracy theory thing. But I haven't really read too much about it. But it just seems kind of silly to me on the surface.
Yeah, I don't believe in that kind of stuff either. But along with like all this talk about like our, you know, dead rock and roll icons and stuff like that, sometimes the saddest part is thinking like, what would a specific band or a specific like singer, songwriter, whatever, be doing now had they lived? Like, would they be
Right.
with the band? Like, I really don't think Nirvana would have survived much longer had Kurt Cobain lived.
Yeah.
I think it seems more and more like he was just really unhappy with it. And then I think about like what would Jim Morrison be like had the Doors made it into like the 80s, let's say. Like I think Jim Morrison would have been like the best like Vegas lounge act in the world with like the undone tuxedo bow tie thing and like
Yeah.
you know singing like Sinatra standards and stuff like that. I think he would have been awesome at that.
Yeah. I can see that. I can totally see that.
And you know, like I mean, same thing with I think I told you this when I came across it. It's so weird to me, but it's so good. Scott Weiland put out a Christmas album, and it's
Did he?
fucking really good. I'm not even kidding. I was impressed. He's like all old school, like Bing Crosby crooner. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Huh. It's all like standards and stuff.
Yeah,
It's not
it's
like
all
any
standards.
like
Yeah,
original.
and he does it really, really well.
Huh. Who would
And
have
then he
thunk?
died of a heroin overdose.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's sad ultimately when you think about it, but sometimes it's like, ah, what would they have been doing had they lived or had they survived? Um,
Yeah.
Here's another, I guess, less depressing thing to think about. You ever think about
What's that?
like a band that you really really like, but you never got to see? Like, what's a band that you regret never having seen?
Oh well, for me, Alice in Chains with Lane is the first one that comes to mind. Um,
Oh yeah, that would have been great.
you know, Kiss in the '70s, Zeppelin in the '70s, a lot of that stuff. The Doors, there's so many old bands that I wish I was, old enough, to see when they were in their prime before they broke up or or whatever.
Yeah, for
How
me, it's
about
got to
you?
be like the Doors or Zeppelin.
Yeah,
Would have loved to seen the Doors in like the Whiskey A Go Go era, like small
yeah,
club wise. That probably would have been great.
yeah. I would have loved to have seen Pink Floyd in the like around like the Wall era. But I saw the Wall when Roger Waters brought it around years ago, and it was amazing. That was such a good show.
I don't
But
know. I always kind of try to hold out hope for Roger Waters and David Gilmour kind of mending everything and like, but it doesn't seem like it's gonna happen.
no, no, I think it's a done thing. But I don't think Floyd. I don't even think is a thing anymore.
No, I
I
haven't
think,
actually. I haven't actually heard anybody try to use the name or like some other incarnation or anything like that.
yeah. Well, like, the keyboard player died. There was someone else in that band that passed away recently. I was a saxophone player or something. Someone else that's been touring with them and been in that camp for years also died. But um, yeah, I think they retired the band. I don't think they're doing anything anymore with
Well, I
Floyd.
mean,
Gilmore's doing the solo stuff.
that's probably
So
better
is
than like
Waters.
being petty and arguing over who gets to use the name and who's the real Floyd and who isn't.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
yeah, yeah. Well, Roger Waters will still go out there and do interviews and complain about, oh, everyone thinks that that Gilmore wrote blah blah blah, but no, it was me. I'm the one that wrote it, and da 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 da. Da. It's like, who cares, dude?
Yeah, he seems like a very unhappy person at this point.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think when he got when he parted ways with Floyd, he thought that they were just gonna, because he thought he thought that he was the band, so he was like, "That's it, I'm gone. That's the end of Pink Floyd." So when they decided they were gonna keep going, that's when all the legal stuff, the legal battle started for the name. He didn't
Yeah.
want them using the name, you know.
Seems like such a waste of time and energy.
Yeah, yeah, but I don't know. I guess when you have something you feel is worth fighting for, you got to fight for it, But
I guess so, but I mean, you're talking about decades and decades and decades at this point. Like,
yeah. Well, they weren't they? Didn't they kind of make amends at some point, and they were friendly with each other? Because I know Gilmore was popping up at some of Roger Waters shows, doing some guitar and stuff, and I think they sat down for some interviews. Like they seemed like they were okay, and then I don't know what happened after that they're not talking again. But
who knows?
yeah,
I
punks
think
think
I
petty
feel like
bullshit.
Roger Waters is kind of like volatile at this point,
Yeah.
and I feel like there are certain older musicians from that era who really seem like they've just lost their minds. I mean, I've heard some things about Eric Clapton recently that I'm like, Eric Clapton lost his mind. He's
Oh,
like
really?
he's like gone on like racist tirades on stage
Really?
and like yelling about like immigration problems in England and like going off on stuff like
Oh,
that. I mean, I've heard similar things about Van Morrison, who I fucking love Van Morrison, but apparently he's out of his mind too.
I heard he's kind of a dick.
Yeah,
I've heard that over the years.
I
I
understand.
really
Go ahead.
I was no I was just gonna say I really hate when musicians get into politics and just get up on stage and just screaming and yelling about politics and stuff. I just
Yeah,
don't think
I agree.
that's you go into a show to get away from all that shit. I mean that's just my personal opinion, but I could do without that.
Well, but I mean, I totally agree. Listen, play the hits. Yeah, you know what? Have a political point of view. Use your platform for something good, but don't be all preachy.
Yeah,
That's not what I paid money for. I paid money to hear you play music.
yeah,
And I think majority of people feel that way. Unless you're like Kid Rock or Vanilla Ice playing a concert for Donald Trump, in which case you're just a fucking sad clown.
yeah. CC Music Factory. Who else was supposed to play at that thing? That
I
was
don't
like
know.
such a
I know for a fact Vanilla Ice was like,
horrible lineup. I think Vanilla Ice was actually like talking about it. So he was being interviewed, and he was just like talking about how great of a thing it was going to be, and this and that. And they were like, they're like, I don't think it's happening or something. I forgot what it was, but he was just like, oh, I think it was
poor
Vanilla
Vanilla
Ice,
Ice don't even know what's going on in his own world anymore.
CNC Music Factory, Millie Vanilli. I'm like,
I heard that one too. Yeah.
who put this shit together? Brett Michaels is probably like the most decent one out of the bunch, and then still it's Brett Michaels, like not even Poison, just Brett Michaels.
Yeah, well, that's because he was on The Apprentice at one point.
Yeah, but anyway,
Wow. I feel like we've kind of covered the entire gamut there.
Well, here, let me ask you this question. This is one thing that I wrote down. I don't know if we ever talked about this. Um, in your opinion, an album that's perfect from start to finish, like there's no songs that need to be skipped. You could just put it on from the very beginning and just listen to it till it's over. I can't talk.
Okay, you know what? That's actually an easy one, and I'm not even gonna go Rolling Stones on this one.
Get out of here! I thought for sure it was going to be the Stones.
I'm not. I could, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go Appetite for Destruction. Perfect record, front to
Really?
back. Perfect.
Wow. Okay,
There's not a
that's a
song
surprise.
on
That
there
is
that isn't good.
really what's on that. You got. You know what? I think you're right. I think you're right.
That was
I
the
think just
first
about every
record I
song.
ever bought with my own money.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
I had the cassette.
Yeah,
I
well,
had the
that's what
cassette.
I had too was the cassette. But
Yeah.
I remember I had the cassette and I had a little boom box and I wore that shit out to the point that it got warped. And then you had to do the thing where like you had the pencil and you tried to rewind it back into the case.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Appetite for Destruction, front to back, great record. Not a single song on there that isn't good. And
Yeah.
honestly, even when we're talking about like getting tired of certain songs, I could be like,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm tired of Paradise City. But no, I'm not. When it comes on the radio, I'm like, fucking Paradise City's a great song.
Yeah.
Same thing
That
with
is a
Sweet
great
Child of
song. It's
Mine.
a great
I could
album.
see where people get sick
Hmm.
of it, but I'm still like, it's a great song.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you 100% on that. I'm just trying to think if there's any songs on there that I didn't like that much, and I can't. I'm trying to think of some of the songs that didn't get played as much. Like My Michelle, that wasn't a huge song, but that's still a great song.
Still a great song. The
Um.
only one I could see kind of being like, it's not that great is Think About You. That kind
Oh.
of ballady, like, I mean,
Oh yeah. Think about you.
yeah, yeah.
Can't remember half the song, just bits and pieces of it. That was a good song. Definitely not the best one
I mean, still a
on the
decent
album.
song. Nothing wrong
Yeah.
with it.
But there was one song on that album that I was never a huge fan of. I actually did skip it a lot. Was I think it was the second track, and I can't think of the name of it now. It's I see your sister in a Sunday dress.
Oh, it's so easy.
It's so easy. That might be the only song that I really didn't like that much on that album. Didn't hate
It's
it, but
so
I
easy.
used to I just skipped it a lot.
Then you got Out to Get Me. That was still a
Oh,
good
I
one.
love that song. Love that song. That was such a great fucking song. That really was a great album.
Yeah.
Mr. Brownstone
Mr. Brownstone's
was
a
a
great
great
song.
song. Uh huh. Rocket Queen. That was one of my favorites.
Rocket Queen's a
The
great
fucking
song, and the story
for the
behind it is so fucking ridiculous. Poor Steven Adler.
yeah, that's horrible. He's got to listen to that every. He can't get. There's like no getting away from that.
No, you can't get away from it.
But yeah, that was. I as soon as the drums came in, I was hooked.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so that's definitely a great album, back to front.
Yeah,
I can
like
still
I said,
listen
for
to it all the
me,
way through.
for me, perfect like front from beginning to end, and it's probably such like a cliched like oh yeah, it's like everybody is Dark Side of the Moon, because I used to literally just like sit in a room with all the lights off and just listen to it with headphones on from beginning to end, and it was just like going on a just took you on a journey.
Yeah, but you know what? I could see that. I mean, yeah, I can also see people knocking it and being like, people make too big of a deal out of that record.
Yeah,
But you know what? It's perfectly constructed. Even like the track list, like one song into the other and stuff like that. Like a
yeah,
lot went into that.
yeah,
And it is something where you can just sit quietly and like reflect and listen and probably like almost have a different experience every time.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. That's
honestly, I think if we're just strictly talking Floyd, I actually think "Wish You Were Here" is a better record.
all right. Well, not for me, but it's a good. I love that one too. That's another one I used to listen to start to finish. You know, I love that shit, man. With the slow build ups to the songs, just like the layering upon the layering, and just everything
I mean, yeah,
just
the
built.
arrangements and like the
Everything's built.
craftsmanship of the songs is, I mean, you can't take nothing away from them whatsoever.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's the one that comes to off the top of my head. It's Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with it.
Good.
Oh man, I think it might be
Well,
time to call this one, brother. What do
yeah,
you got?
man. I
Anything
got
else?
nothing. I got nothing else to offer.
All right, me neither. So, listen, everybody, thanks for hanging. Be cool, be good to each other, and we'll see you next time.
Later.